And we're back with some more Arizona Coyotes franchise mode in FHM 10. And this one, we're going to start off by making a couple of trades involving Jussi Saros and Filip Hronek. Now, I did actually want to keep Hronek at first just because of the fact that he simulates pretty well as far as his grades go. High 60s a couple of years ago in the simulation. And as far as Saros goes, he's had a pretty good simulation over the course of the past 6 years. However, he is 34 years of age, making over $7 million on his cap hit for the next 2 years. And Filip Hronek making 6.3 for 1 year. And not only that, but on his renewal, he wants 7.9 for 3 years. That's way too much for a player of his caliber. So that's why we're going to be sending both of those guys out. And not only all that, but we're currently at 90 mil on our salary. So I feel like we do need to clear up quite a bit here. And I think those two would be a good start, especially when you consider the fact that we have Aiden Hill in goal, only making 2.4 for the next 2 years, as well as William Lassell, 21 years of age, obviously on a minimum deal with a 2.5-star ability, 5-star potential, right? So I think Saros is the logical one to go here. And then on defense, I mean, we just have so many defensemen. We have 6 defensemen who are 3-star or over. So Hronek being the 7th defenseman there, making 6.3, not exactly something I'm a fan of. So we're going to be sending him out as well. All right, so I think I found a good destination for Mr. Jussi Saros. The Buffalo Sabres are in desperate need of a goaltender. They have a 1.5-star ability as their starting goaltender and a 1-star as their backup. So they definitely need help there. They have a bit of cap space as well, so I think we'll be able to make this work. Unfortunately, the maximum I'm able to get for Saros is a 5th and a 6th. And then considering the talent on most other teams in the league, I think we're going to struggle to keep up, at least with most teams, right? So I don't think there's any point in keeping Jussi Saros around, and especially when his value is only going to decrease as the time goes on, right? He's already 34, so may as well just get back what we can for him. So offer trade, and we'll see if that goes through. Oh man, we are not getting much for Filip Hronek. Yeah, oh man, we can't even get a 7th. You know what, I'll wait until the Saros trade goes through, and then we'll see where we're at as far as our team cap hit goes. Ooh, Buffalo said no. Wow. Yeah, we really cannot. Oh man. So what changed here? Why did all of a sudden, why are they not even interested in acquiring Saros for a 6th? I don't know what changed between now and a couple of days ago, but for some reason now they're not even interested in giving up a 7th for Saros. Yeah, that's rough. Regardless, we're definitely going to need to, at the very least, move Saros before the season starts. So it's looking like we may have to give up assets just to move Saros' contract here. Either that or we have to buy him out, which I would rather not do. All right, anyway, we'll figure that out after the draft lottery. And obviously we have 18 teams in the draft lottery now, since we have Arizona and Atlanta back in the league. So let's see who wins it. At number 18, you have Toronto. Then you have St. Louis, Columbus, Carolina, New York, Utah, Colorado, Pittsburgh, Seattle. So Calgary moves up, and Edmonton. Then you have San Jose, the Islanders, Florida, Arizona Coyotes at number 6, Atlanta at number 5, Boston at 4, Vegas at 3, and then at 1 is the Calgary Flames, followed by the Edmonton Oilers at number 2. Wow. So let's get going with the draft and see who's available for us at number 6. So you have Mason St. Louis going first overall to the Calgary Flames, and then you have Philip Pospisil to the Edmonton Oilers at number 2, Lucas Newtonen to the Vegas Golden Knights at number 3, then you have Joe Guis to the Boston Bruins at number 4, and Albin Svensson to the Atlanta Thrashers at number 5. So who's got the highest potential here? You have 4 4-star potentials in Coughlin, Westman, Turner, and Ronholm. Now, we do not have any accurate scouting reports on any of these guys, as you know, we weren't really around for long to be able to scout them. So, I mean, I think really any pick here is going to be a shot in the dark for the most part. And that's a big part of why that I'm not trading for any picks here in this draft. I mean, the mock draft has Ronholm going at number 3. I mean, I take the mock draft with a very light grain of salt. But I think in this case, you know, we don't really have much else to go off of besides the career stats. Turner was supposed to go number 8. Westman's supposed to go number 10. Connor Coughlin's supposed to go number 1. Really? I mean, we do have something of a scouting report on him. I don't know if these ratings are accurate though, because I think that's only a D Scouting grade, yeah. Does not perform well in big games, but then again, we don't know if we can trust this, right? I think we just got to take everything here with a grain of salt. He had 31 points last year, 59 grade. I mean, you got a winger, you got a center, you got a goaltender, you got a defenseman. You got a lot of options here as far as variety, but each one of them is basically a shot in the dark, right? So I think we'll just take Coughlin. We'll take the defenseman. We already got a goaltender in LaSalle, right? I want to see how he simulates, and he's only 21. So I don't think there's any rush to get a goaltender right away. And I would like to start building from the defensive core outwards. So yeah, I'll take Connor Coughlin here. Welcome to the Arizona Coyotes, Connor Coughlin. And our next pick at number 38, Westman is actually still there. Save percentage last year wasn't too great, but that was only in 5 games played. So I mean, it's really not the greatest sample size. I mean, I think you just got to go for him, right? There is Mikkel Mock though, supposed to go number 9. Once again, this is why I don't trust the mock draft. We're already in the second round, and we're seeing guys who were supposed to go in the top 10. 16 points in 28 games played, 67 grade. I like the grade. Nothing else really to go off of here, though. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's really just a shot in the dark here. Actually, I think I'm liking the look at this guy, Ryan Sloan. He is 6'5", first of all, big kid. He was supposed to go at number 43, so we're actually ahead of where he is supposed to go. But I do like his point total from last year. I like his grade from last year. Of the limited and possibly inaccurate information that we have on him right now, I think he might be a good pick. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with Sloan. So let's take Ryan Sloan here at number 38. It's not like this is a reach either, right? He was supposed to go around this time being ranked at 43. So I guess we'll see how he pans up and simulate to our next pick. We are now at number 72. And it seems some of the better players are now 19 and 20 year olds. I would prefer to go with an 18-year-old. Henry Elms, it looks like we do have a little something on him. Again, don't know if it's accurate, but he did have 59 points in the WHL last year in 68 games played, 61 grade. What about Tanner Horick? He had 32 points last year in 60 games played, 62 grade. Who have we taken so far? We've taken right defenseman in Coughlin, and then we took a center in Sloan. Yeah, I'll go with Horick here. Welcome to the Arizona Coyotes, Tanner Horick. In round number 4, pick 106. Elms is still there. Just considering the fact that he was ranked at 35, I think we'll take him now because he's way past where he was supposed to go at this point. Welcome to the Arizona Coyotes, Henry Elms. And at pick 140 in round number 5, I think I'm going to filter out all the 19 and 20-year-olds here just so I don't accidentally choose one of them. There is Pat McGee, supposed to go number 30. 32 points in 44 games played in the NCAA last year, 56th grade. I mean, there's not really much else to go off of here, and I frankly don't think anybody else below him would be any better. So Pat McGee, welcome to the Arizona Coyotes. All right, round number 6, pick 174. Pierre Diekman was supposed to go at number 58. I'm just scrolling and seeing where guys were supposed to end up going according to the mock draft, because that's really all we have at this point, which is a sad state of affairs. Daniil Kasatikov was supposed to go number 33. 45 points in the NMHL, 71 grade. I like that. Yeah, I think Kasatikov makes the most sense at this point, just considering his mock draft ranking. So we'll take him. I think he's by far the highest ranked at this point from what I've seen. And then in round number 7, pick 208. This will be our last pick. Chuck Little, pick 118, 58, 42. Let's see, what have we taken so far? We've taken 3 centers, 2 defensemen, and a right winger. I mean, I know he's 19, but I may as well just take Johannes Aberg. He's got a pretty good save percentage last year in 16 games played with a 922. And at this point, I can't imagine there's really anybody better. Oh, wait a minute. Pensi Rocio was supposed to go at number 13, apparently. 39 points in 45 games played. I mean, he's another center, but do I take a chance on him? He's 19. I mean, there's got to be a reason that he dropped from 13, right? We're at 208 now. Jeez, that is the mock draft in a nutshell. Pensi Rocio, welcome to the Arizona Coyotes. And there you go. That is the end of the draft. And for now, I think I'm going to leave all these guys unsigned. I don't think any of them will be ready for the NHL day 1. And besides, I'm going to want a full scouting report on all of these guys, right, before I sign them. So we'll let our scouts do their thing. And I guess now we're going to have to attempt to trade Yusei Saros at the very least. Oh, okay. So we're back to accepting offers for a 7th. What about a 5th? Okay, I don't know why I don't know why they wouldn't do this before. Oh, okay, now I can do a 4th. All right, they won't do a 4th and a 7th, so I'll just go for a 4th. I don't know why they wouldn't accept a 5th and a 6th before, and now all of a sudden they're fine with a 4th. But okay, works for me. We'll try it. Oh, very likely for Toronto for a 5th. Okay, so I can't get a 2nd, but I can get a 3rd for Filip Hronek. I'm very glad I held off until after the draft for this. Yeah, let's offer trade. See if that goes through. All right, there you go. Both trades have been accepted from the Toronto Maple Leafs and Buffalo Sabres. So we did not, thankfully, we did not end up having to give up anything to get rid of Saros or Hronek. So Jussi Saros going to the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for a 4th round pick. Complete trade. There you go. And Filip Hronek with 50% of his salary retained going to the Toronto Maple Leafs in exchange for a 3rd. Complete trade. There it is. All right, so worst case scenario avoided, thankfully. And now that our salary cap for our NHL caliber players is only at 80.5, we can really start to focus on who we're going to want on our team long term here. So I think I'm going to hold off on any more trades or acquisitions until the preseason because I want to see how everybody simulates, and we'll take it from there. That being said, we are going to need some depth players in the AHL. And basically all these guys are NHL caliber players, and we still have 30 of them on our roster. So I don't think it would be smart asset management to just send all the guys who we're not going to be using down to the minors. I think it would be better to move on from some of them, trade some of them right away, and then just sign some minor league players out of free agency. Okay, so for some minor league signings, I have gone ahead and approached Marcus Ruck, Cohen Cleaver, Caden Allen, Eli Barrett, Kieran Poulon, and Blake Aerosmith as some minor league depth signings. There you go. They have all signed, so we'll just send them immediately down to the AHL. You know what this game really needs is like a batch action button. You know what I mean? Like being able to select multiple players at once who you want to perform the same action on, like say sending 10 players all at once down to the AHL. You can't do that. You gotta do it individually. Like I seriously hope that's something they implement for FHM 11. That'd be so nice. And time for the Hall of Fame inductions. Let's see who goes in this year. You have Jaromir Jagr, Marc-Andre Fleury, Ray Whitney, and Eric Stahl all entering the Hockey Hall of Fame this year. All right, so we're at the start of the preseason, meaning we need to set our captains. And I'm pretty sure I know who it's going to be. I think it's going to be Clayton Keller. But let's just check out everybody's leadership attribute here. So where's Keller for leadership? 14. Yeah, I mean, that's good enough for now, right? I mean, he's the best player on our team for sure. So I think it's got to be Clayton Keller. And not to mention, he was a member of the previous Arizona Coyotes as well. So I think that makes a lot of sense. Cohen Zimmer, I think, might end up being our first alternate captain. Got some pretty good offensive ratings in there. Physical ratings are good. Mental ratings are good. I'm not entirely sure how he's going to simulate, but he also does thrive in the spotlight. I feel like he might end up being a key player somewhere down the road. And then I think Xavier Veilleux has got to be the second alternate here. He had 54 points with St. Louis last year, a 64 grade. He's got some great offensive ratings in there. Great mental category. I feel like he could be yet another big player for us in the future. And with that, let's go through the preseason and see how everybody simulates and see who we're going to be cutting. Yeah, so we're having some struggles here in the preseason. I mean, I guess that was expected. I mean, we have a 6-3 win against Pittsburgh in the first game, but every game after that has not looked so pretty so far. A 5-2 loss against Carolina, 4-1 loss against San Jose, 6-5 loss against Boston, 7-0 loss against Utah, the former Coyotes. So yeah, it's not pretty for sure, but I think we all somewhat expected that at least. There you go, there's a win against Anaheim. And with the loss against LA, that is the end of the preseason, and we're gonna have to decide who's getting cut here. So we currently have 9 defensemen. Rhett Sather is not looking too great right now with that 49 defensive grade and 54 offensive. Only 20 years of age, so I think he could use some seasoning in the AHL. Henry Muse, only a 55 defensive grade, 57 offensive. Nikishin has the 74 defensive grade, so despite his being 27 and only a 2-star ability, I think that might be helpful to have around. Then again, Muse did get 37 points last year for Toronto. So maybe we'll roll with 8 defensemen. I don't know. It depends on how many fours we cut. So I'll leave that for the time being. And how many fours do we have? We have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19. We have 19 forwards. Yeah, that is way too many. So I think Kostuk and Stenberg can be sent to the AHL. They're only 21 and 22 respectively, still got some development to do, and they did not have a great preseason. Jaden Grube is 26 years of age. I feel like he could be some good veteran depth to call up if needed, but for now he'll be sent to the Tucson Roadrunners. Tanner Lamb, he had a 46 defensive grade, 64 offensive. What did he do in the preseason? 1 goal in 2 games played. Flugans, I'm not really a big fan of. His ratings aren't all that impressive, especially not defensively, so I think I'll be sending sending him down to Tucson. Maxim Barbashev is 25 at a 2.5-star ability, and he's not great defensively. I think I might just trade him because I can't see him really getting too much better at this point. In fact, yeah, I'll just shop him and see what we can get. Mostly things I'm not interested in, so I think we'll just manually search for a trade here. So let's look for a win now team who needs wingers, if there's any. Looks like quite a few teams need goaltenders here, but that's obviously not what we're shopping right now. Okay, the Rangers need wingers. They're balanced. So if I put Barbashev on there, and maybe if we could get a third back. Okay, very likely. How about a second? They won't accept this offer. All right, then how about a third and a third for next year as well? Yeah, okay, I think that's going to be the limit to what they would accept for Barbashev. So Barbashev for 2/3 sounds good to me. Offer trade. Hopefully that goes through before the start of the regular season. And I think Viktor Fedorov is also going to be sent down here. He's only 21. He was not very good defensively. And I think I would like to see how he simulates in the AHL before seeing what he's capable of at the NHL level. So that puts us at 24. And once the Barbashev trade goes through, that'll be 23. So we have to hope that Barbashev is traded by September 20th here. Hey, there we go. All right. So the Rangers accepted our offer. Barbashev for 2 third-round picks. Complete trade. There it is. So that means we are now officially at 23 players on our roster. I think we're going to roll with 8 defensemen for right now. I want to see how all these guys simulate. They all look pretty good. So in goal, we have William Lassell and Aiden Hill. On defense, you have Adam Bachquist, Carson Lambos, Owen Power, Xavier Veilleux, Moritz Cedar, Etienne Morin, Henry Muse, and Alexander Nikishin. And at forward, you have Clayton Keller, Cone Zimmer, Kieran Walton, Braden Yeager, Owen Beck, Matvey Michkov, Casper Nassane, Nathan Bastian, William Dufour, Alexander Doucette, Oscar Malgard, John Mustard, and Tanner Lamb. And there you have it. That is the starting roster for your year number 1 rebooted Arizona Coyotes. So with that, I don't think there's anything else to do here except start the simulation for year number 1. So let's go ahead to game number 1 of the return of the Arizona Coyotes against the Edmonton Oilers. And you know what? Since this is a pretty big game, let's go into it. So first line, you have Keller, Yeager, and Zimmer. Second line, you have Walton, Beck, and Michkov. Third line is Doucette, Malgard, and Bastian. Fourth line is Nassane, Lamb, and Dufour. On defense, you have Veilleux and Bachquist, Lambos and Cedar, and then Power and Moran. Getting into it, simulate game, we have a 7-2 Edmonton victory. That's a bit brutal. Yeah, I mean, we can probably expect more or less the same throughout the season, I would imagine. 3 stars of the game are Chinikov, Perfetti, and Forster, all for the Edmonton Oilers. Edmonton scored 5 before we scored our first in the first period. And then Braden Yeager scores the first goal of the rebooted Arizona Coyotes, assisted by Keller and Michkov. In the second period, you have Chinikov and Perfetti scoring before Yeager scores once again, and no scoring in the third. So yeah, that was a bit rough. We certainly have our work cut out for us here as the GM of the Arizona Coyotes, but that's the way I like it. So I would say we'll get through at least October and we'll see where we're at. Hey, there we go. A win against Carolina. So that is our first win in the rebooted Arizona Coyotes franchise history. Oh boy, we're having media criticism already. Clayton Keller getting criticism for his play against the New York Rangers in an 8-3 loss. I mean, I don't think it'd be right to single out any one player in a game like this, especially where most players had defensive grades in the 30s and 40s. He could have obviously done better, but like, I'm not going to throw only him under the bus for a game that was just not our game in general. So you know what? That's a stupid question. I'm going to refuse to comment on that. No, thank you. Media's at it again. Oh boy, here we go again. Clayton Keller getting criticized by the media once again, this time in a 5-2 loss against Ottawa, who are currently 8-0-1. We're currently 2-6-1. I mean, he didn't even have that bad of a game. He had 2 assists. He had a 77 offensive grade. The media is just being, they're just treating him unfairly. All right, so it's November 1st. We're doing better than I expected, to be honest. We're 9-11-2, but still not what I would call a playoff bound team. I mean, it's still entirely possible. We're only 5 points back at third right now, but, you know, just given the quality of our competition, I'm not sure how much of a chance we stand here. I guess we'll take a look at the stats first and see how everybody's doing. So Braden Yeager with 24 points in 21 games played, leading the scoring. That's good to see. Then you have Captain Clayton Keller with 20 points in 22 games played, 18 points for Owen Beck, 15 for Michkov in 18 games, 14 for Walton, 13 for Zimmer and Power and Moran and Cedar, 12 for Nassane, 9 for Bachquist and Doucette. for Dufour, 7 for Veilleux, Malgard, and Bastion, 6 for Lambos and Muse, 5 for Nikishin in 6 games played, and then 4 for Mustard in 15, 2 for Lamb, and then nothing obviously for Hill and Lascelles. And then in goal, you have Lascelles with an 897 save percentage in 14 games played, and Aiden Hill with an 883 in 10 games played. So yeah, it's pretty obvious where this team's weakness lies in goals against. So we're actually 13th in the league in goals for per game, so we're not bad there, but goals against per game is where we're really struggling. 32nd in the league out of 34 teams with a 4.09, not looking pretty. We're very good at faceoffs, actually 4th in the league with a 52.2. Power play, let's see. Where are we? We're 15th, middle of the league with a 20%. And the penalty kill, we are also middle of the league, 81.9, 14th in the league. So special teams aren't terrible. Goal scoring in general is not terrible either. But yeah, our issue clearly lies in defense and goaltending. So I guess we'll see how we do throughout the rest of the season here. But it doesn't seem like our team's really in sync. We have some good things going for us for sure, but I don't know if the team itself is compatible with the system we have going just yet. And it also might just come down to the fact that we don't have too much, if any, elite talent, you know? I mean, obviously there's Clayton Keller, but he's already 31. He's going to be on his way down in terms of overall ability soon. So there's certainly some potential here on this team. There's things that we can work with. You know, you got Lascelles at 21 years of age, and despite the fact that he's not having a great season right now, he might end up being better next year, especially given the fact that he's a 5-star potential. And I think you got a good mix of veterans and young guys on this team. So having all the veterans that we do might be helping out the young guys right now. But that being said, I don't know how long we're going to be holding on to all those veterans, because this is clearly not a team that is ready to be contending, you know. But that's enough for now, as this recording's already gone on for quite some time. So I'll end it off here. And the next one, we'll go through the rest of year number 1, and we'll see what happens as we go forward. So I'll see you guys in the next one.